Are you there? Okay. It is these guys that have all of these qualities that Babylon is willing to teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. The reason why Babylon will teach you their language is because that is the only way that they can milk you of your endowment and use it to build their own kingdom. Daniel chapter 1, let's begin the reading from verse number 1. I think it captures the context that will open up our understanding. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. Next verse. Oh my God, who is on that console? Don't waste my time. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. So the first thing that the king looted was treasure from the house of God. Don't forget that. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, and part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, and to the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. Verse 3. And the king spake unto Aspenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed and of the princes. I would like you to take a while and see the specification of individuals that the king requested that they be brought out of Jerusalem and brought to Babylon. He gave a specification. In terms of the vessels, in terms of the loot he took from the sanctuary, it was all the loot he took. But in terms of the human beings that should come to the headquarters, it was not everyone that he chose. He gave specifications as to the kind of people that should be brought to Babylon. First description was what? Children of Israel. Second description was that they were what? From the royal line. People that had royal blood. People that had a hope of ascending into thrones of power. Are you there? Princes by birth. People that they were training to inherit thrones of power. He said, those are the ones that I want you to bring to Babylon. Bring all the vessels. Bring all the treasure, but don't bring all the men. Not every man is useful. By now, you must have understood the psychology of Babylon. Babylon doesn't have the ability to empower. So Babylon has an eye for gift, has an eye for endowment, has an eye for ordination. So they come around, and when they find that there is a destiny ahead of you, something that you are looking up to, you are trusting God for its manifestation. You have been seated in the line of greatness, and in the fullness of time, the stroke of your greatness will be known to all. Babylon will take you. And the reason why Babylon will take you is because they want to use your capacity to adorn their kingdom. Just in case you gave an accurate prophecy the other day and it came to pass, Babylon, your name was already written on the list of people that Babylon is seeking to transport to China. If you're still with me, say amen. Okay, now let's see what they have in mind. These guys that they want to come to their headquarters. Let's see what they have in mind. Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored. That means there's nothing that dents the symmetry of their beauty. Nothing that dents the symmetry of their handsomeness. People that are wholesome in physique, golden in frame. Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, cunning in knowledge, understanding science. Now, Babylon doesn't have the ability to in part. There is no capacity building program that can make you a man of ordination in Babylon. They know that their storehouse of grace is empty. So they will look around seeking that individual that was able to hear the voice of God. If by any means you have any supernatural endowment that you can pass by grace into any pool of spiritual knowledge whatsoever, Babylon is interested. Are you there? He said those guys that understand science and such that had the ability in them to do what? To stand in the king's palace. It's not enough for you to understand science and to have capacity to unravel copious mysteries. But one of the qualifications that these guys had to have was that they need to have the ability in them to do what? To stand in the king's palace. It will interest you to know that not everyone has the ability to stand before a king. So in order for there not to be conflict, the people that they choose had to be in the lineage of royalty. They must have been exposed to royalty to a certain degree to understand the decorum and the courtesies that are needed in the king's presence. Are you there? Okay. It is these guys that have all of these qualities that Babylon is willing to teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. The reason why Babylon will teach you their language is because that is the only way that they can milk you of your endowment and use it to build their own kingdom. The only thing Babylon teaches you is their language. Because that's the only way they can benefit from the endowment that they don't know how you got. If Nebuchadnezzar goes to Otubo and see some people there that know Aleku very well, they can discuss with Aleku, and Aleku will give them feedback, Nebuchadnezzar will arrest them. If Nebuchadnezzar goes to Kasinala and he sees someone there that understands the language of Swem, and the person can throw cowries on the ground, and Swem will interpret it and say, this is the meaning, this is what they were arrested. They were arresting with his shrine and all the articles there. Are you with me? At the end of the day, in Babylon's ministry of wisdom, there were 9 different types of priesthood that he had gathered from the nations of the world. That's how we now understood how Nebuchadnezzar became the king of kings. It was through the intelligence that came through these demonic sources, through all of these dimensions of priesthood, that they were able to make predictions about the future and to know what to emphasize in their strategy. Are you still with me? It was in this pool of magicians that they brought Daniel, Shadrach. Now, let's not go too far. Let's stay. We are still talking about asking. Next verse. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might, what's the goal? Stand before the king. Stand up. No, not you. Not that lady, the lady. Are you in school? You've graduated. As small as you are. Sit down. Who is still in the university here? What level are you? 400. Huh? Your course is for how many years? 3 years. 4 years. Sit down. This their own course was a 3-year course. And when you have passed the course, you are going to stand before the chancellor. And Nebuchadnezzar was the chancellor. Now, I'm just trying to, I know you are not here, so you are coming back now. I went here to bring you back from Wadata. Do you realize that it will take them 3 years of scholastic excellence to secure an opportunity to stand before the king? It's not in kingdom days. Standing before the king is not casual. It's not something you can just okay. One go check bros for that side. That's not that's not the idea here. These guys will study for 3 years. And when they had studied for 3 years, they secure an opportunity to, meanwhile, before they even brought them, they had in them the capacity to stand in the king's palace. But even though they had that capacity, they will go through 3 years of education and training, of bending and breaking and chiseling, before they draw from that potential and stand before Nebuchadnezzar. Most of you don't know how great Nebuchadnezzar was. Have you heard of the concept? You know, God is called King of Kings. The first human that fully satisfied that description, Nebuchadnezzar. He was the one that pioneered the concept of globalization. When Babylon is feasting, we are talking about feasts that last for months. When they say there's a celebration, it lasts for months and it's intercontinental. He had kings and nations under him. And that's why, if we are going to talk about the false system of the Antichrist, we will need to take that prototype and use it as an analysis. That's the first time the world was considered to be a global village. Kings were the beck and call of this supreme one that was the King of Kings and the governor of the earth. It takes many moons for a star like that to rise. And if a star like that rises, it can never be outside of the knowledge of God. So God was the one that allowed Nebuchadnezzar rise like that. In order for you to stand before him, you will go for degree program. And when you have graduated with flying colors, you'll be given an opportunity to stand before the king. So